What's even more compelling is that the show allows us to witness Sheldon's struggle with empathy, an area where he had limited growth in The Big Bang Theory. In young Sheldon, we see him become more self-aware and start understanding the feelings of others, which makes his eventual growth in The Big Bang Theory feel more meaningful. Watching his transformation is honestly a joy, something that fans didn't always get from the adult version of Sheldon. 4. The humor, funnier, more relatable, and family-friendly. Let's talk about the humor. The Big Bang Theory was known for its quick-witted jokes and geeky pop culture references, but let's be honest, sometimes the humor felt a little too niche, catering only to a specific group of viewers. In contrast, young Sheldon has a broader comedic appeal that feels more universally relatable. The jokes in young Sheldon are less about nerd culture and more about the awkwardness of growing up and the absurdity of family life. Whether it's Sheldon's hilarious interactions with his family members or his attempts to navigate the world as a child genius, the humor hits the mark time and time again. It's funny because it's based on universal experiences, awkwardness, misunderstandings, and the ups and downs of family life. It's easier to relate to the situations in young Sheldon, and that makes it funnier in a more organic way than The Big Bang Theory. Plus, the show's more family-friendly tone allows it to reach a wider audience. Whereas The Big Bang Theory often leaned on adult humor and pop culture references that could alienate some viewers, young Sheldon keeps things accessible for all ages while still delivering sharp, clever jokes. 5. The show's message, more heart, less cynicism. One of the most noticeable differences between young Sheldon and The Big Bang Theory is the underlying message of the show. While The Big Bang Theory often leaned into cynicism and poked fun at the social awkwardness of its characters, young Sheldon is more about acceptance, empathy, and the challenges of growing up as a misunderstood genius. The show explores the importance of family, understanding, and love, even in the face of adversity. Sheldon's family may not always get him, but they're doing their best to help him thrive in a world that doesn't quite understand him. The show's more uplifting tone and focus on love and growth make it feel more heartwarming and inspiring compared to The Big Bang Theory, which often used sarcasm and witty one-liners to gloss over deeper emotional moments. 6. The one aspect that young Sheldon just can't get right, and why it matters. So young Sheldon is, in many ways, the superior show. It's got stronger characters, better family dynamics, more relatable humor, and a heartfelt message that resonates with a wider audience. But here's the catch. There's one thing young Sheldon just can't seem to get right, and it's a big one. That one thing, Sheldon's relationships with his future friends from The Big Bang Theory. Let's be honest, the chemistry between Sheldon and his future friends is simply not there in young Sheldon. Part of what made The Big Bang Theory so beloved was the dynamic between Sheldon, Leonard, Penny, Amy, Howard, and Raj. The relationships were messy, complicated, and real, even if they were based on nerdy tropes. In young Sheldon, however, we don't see any of that. There's no true sense of camaraderie between Sheldon and his peers, and we barely see any of the foundations being built for the relationships that will define his adult life. As young Sheldon continues, it becomes increasingly difficult to ignore that the interactions with other characters often feel forced and lack the organic connection that The Big Bang Theory masterfully captured. 7. Conclusion. Young Sheldon still reigns supreme, despite the one flaw. Despite that one glaring issue, young Sheldon is, by most accounts, a superior show to The Big Bang Theory. It brings a fresh perspective to Sheldon's character, offers a more heartwarming and relatable narrative, and provides a deeper emotional connection with its audience. The family dynamics are stronger, the humor is more universal, and the character growth is far more satisfying. While it may not have the same iconic relationships as The Big Bang Theory, young Sheldon more than makes up for it with its emotional depth and genuine warmth. So, if you're looking for a show that offers better storytelling and character development, Young Sheldon is the clear winner, with just one minor hiccup. Don't let that one flaw hold you back. Young Sheldon is a must-watch, and it's slowly proving that sometimes the prequel can actually be better than the original. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and stay with us. Better than The Big Bang Theory, except for one shocking aspect that fans can't ignore. We know what you're thinking. No way. How could a prequel spin-off series ever be better than its original? But if you take a deeper dive into Young Sheldon, there's a compelling argument to be made that it's actually superior to The Big Bang Theory in many ways. Yes, you heard that right. Young Sheldon has quietly surpassed its predecessor in certain aspects, proving that it's more than just a side story, it's a hit in its own right. That said, even the best shows have their flaws, and Young Sheldon is no exception. While the show has outperformed The Big Bang Theory in several key areas, there is still one glaring issue that fans just can't overlook. It's a flaw so significant that it casts a shadow over all the show's other achievements. Intrigued? You should be. Let's dive in. 1. The characters are more relatable, and Young Sheldon makes us care more. First things first, Young Sheldon has one major advantage over The Big Bang Theory right out of the gate. It gives us characters that are actually more relatable. In The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon Cooper was undeniably brilliant, but also incredibly alienating. While his quirks made him a fan favorite, he was often more of an enigma than a person we could truly connect with. On the other hand, Young Sheldon presents us with a young Sheldon who is vulnerable, emotional, and navigating the complicated world of childhood genius. Yes, he still has his quirks, from his obsessive-compulsive behaviors to his inability to understand social cues. But this time, we get to see him through the eyes of a child trying to make sense of a world that doesn't quite get him. Characters like Mary Cooper, Sheldon's mother, become far more multidimensional in Young Sheldon. Her devotion to her son, her struggles to keep up with his brilliance, and her attempts to shield him from the harsh world around him are portrayed in such a heartfelt way. Unlike The Big Bang Theory, where Mary was often just a backdrop to Sheldon's antics, Young Sheldon gives us a deeper emotional connection to the characters. We actually care about what happens to them. 2. The heartwarming family dynamics, a welcome change. The family dynamic in Young Sheldon is also much stronger than what we saw in The Big Bang Theory. In TBBT, Sheldon's relationship with his family, especially his mother, was a bit distant and sometimes downright cold. His inability to express love, coupled with his lack of empathy, made him appear more like a detached genius than a member of a close-knit family. Young Sheldon flips that dynamic on its head. The show focuses heavily on Sheldon's relationship with his family, particularly his mother, his father George Sr., and his siblings. There's a strong emphasis on love, support, and understanding, even though Sheldon is often difficult to handle. This dynamic is more emotionally satisfying, and viewers feel invested in the relationships, watching as Sheldon's family tries to understand him while also giving him the space he needs to grow. Take the way Mary Cooper tries to balance her nurturing nature with the harsh reality of raising a child who's not only a genius but also socially isolated. There's a complexity to their relationship that makes the show feel much more heartwarming and relatable than The Big Bang Theory. 3. Sheldon's growth. Finally, a chance for real development in The Big Bang Theory. Sheldon Cooper started off as a quirky genius who refused to change. And while he did evolve over time, it wasn't without a lot of pushback. His relationships with Leonard, Penny, and Amy were often characterized by his stubborn refusal to understand basic social norms and his constant clashes with others. His character development felt like a slow burn that came in fits and starts, and there were times when his growth felt stunted by his overwhelming pride. Enter young Sheldon, a show that takes its time to develop Sheldon's character from a young age. Here, we see him struggling to fit in, dealing with bullying, trying to understand his own emotions, and grappling with the weight of being a child prodigy. This journey makes Sheldon's growth much more satisfying to watch. He's not just changing because of relationships or external factors. He's learning and evolving in a much more authentic way. This growth is something that The Big Bang Theory never fully allowed Sheldon to experience. Sheldon is better than The Big Bang Theory, except for one aspect. Hello everyone, my name is Alana. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And give this video a like. Up with the exception of one crucial element that is necessary for the prequel's family comedy structure. Young Sheldon has made a compelling case throughout the years for being superior to The Big Bang Theory. Young Sheldon, which was inspired by Sheldon Cooper's fame and his love of telling stories from his early years, focuses entirely on his time spent in Texas with his family. Though The Big Bang Theory did one thing better than its spin-off, Young Sheldon's storyline is perhaps superior to that of its parent series, despite being a prequel. Young Sheldon must always respect The Big Bang Theory's canon because it is a prequel. Unfortunately, this isn't always true. With the Greatest Sheldon and Penny TBD moment being ruined by Young Sheldon Season 6. Aside from continuity issues, the spin-off has produced numerous storyline discrepancies throughout the years, the most of which were readily avoidable. Ironically, The Big Bang Theory excelled at utilizing one of these aspects of its family comedy style, which Young Sheldon has failed to do. Related, Missy's pathetic Big Bang Theory story is justified by Young Sheldon. The tale of Young Sheldon goes beyond Sheldon as it embraces its familial elements, which are perhaps its greatest strength. As a result, the story is more varied because each Cooper has been assigned their own arc. Unfortunately, this leads to fragmented episodes as well, particularly now that Cooper family dinners are less frequent. Throughout its 12-season run, The Big Bang Theory was able to preserve the Pasadena gang's lunch customs, demonstrating its proficiency in this area. Actually, a sight of the friends in Apartment 4 as savoring their typical Chinese meal marked the conclusion of The Big Bang Theory. Somehow, a group lunch scenario that allowed everyone to interact with one another was always a part of The Big Bang Theory. Given that its main characters literally reside in the same home, Young Sheldon ought to have had no trouble doing this. Granted, Georgie is now occupying the garage as his personal area after leaving his room. However, he still lives with his family in the remainder of the house. Therefore, if The Big Bang Theory was able to keep up its group dinner sequences for almost 10 years, Young Sheldon should have no trouble doing the same. All of the Cooper children begin to have social lives apart from their parents as they get older. East Texas Tech has emerged as the new Young Sheldon antagonist, and Sheldon begins to spend more time there. While overseeing Mima's companies, Georgie has been consumed with Mandy. Mary and George, however, have their own storylines to work out. Given that every individual spends their days apart from one another, the only opportunity for the main Cooper characters to get together and catch up is during dinners. These meetings serve to ensure that Young Sheldon's plots are all related, in addition to being an excellent means of establishing the clan's familial dynamic.